Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to American Truck Simulator, and welcome back to Ontario, Oregon. This is the second of our 3 Mack trucks. Last week we were driving the log truck. Today we're driving the 70-inch sleeper on the extended wheelbase, and this is, if the log truck was our little local hauler, this is our big rig long hauler. Lots of chrome. Yeah, I really had fun skinning this too. Mod Studio 2 is a great tool. It's a great app. If you're already skinning, you probably know all about it. If you're thinking about getting into skinning, by all means, check out Mod Studio 2. It's a lot easier to use than the previous version, ATS Studio. A bit of a learning curve, but not terrible. You'll get it. But yeah, if you want to start skinning, I definitely recommend it. And it's a great community too on their Discord. They'll help you sort it out. There's plenty of tutorials, but yeah, definitely recommend it. We're going to pick up packaged food. We're taking it to Burns, Oregon. Not really a long haul for our long haul truck, but you know what? You can't always get what you want. And we've also got a Rabbinicus engine pack motor in this. It is a Mack MP10, making 565 horsepower. So I think we get out of here that way? That way? Yeah, let's back up a little bit. Get out of here. So right, how's everybody doing? It's Tuesday for you. It's Monday for me. And Monday's kicking my ass. I have to say, Monday's like, it's really not treating me well. But it's going to get better. And I hope your Tuesday's treating you well. And if your Monday treated you like my Monday's treating me, then I don't know. Hope your Tuesday's treating you better. What is going on with ATS and ETS? Nothing. Still waiting on Idaho and Iberia, and I've seen a bunch of small updates for both, and they've come in at 50 meg, 200 meg, that sort of thing. So they're still tuning up 1.37. It's up and running. There's no problems with it, but they are continuing to improve it as they do. Good on them. What else is going on? I saw a really cool light pack for ATS. It is the flat light pack. If you go to the workshop, well, as of today, Monday, it's the most popular mod from, I don't know, it's been recently uploaded, but I downloaded it and I realized the only truck that I could really use it on was the Viper 389, because so many of the SCS trucks on both the ETS and the ATS side, but particularly on the ATS side, they don't have a lot of slots. And I've always wondered why that is. I know there are more slots on the ETS side, but still not as many as you would think, right? Knowing how truck drivers and sim truckers, knowing how we like to decorate our trucks, curious why there aren't more slots. I don't necessarily want to fill every slot. I like a tasteful truck. Yeah, I like a tasteful truck, but I like to have all those slots, and then I decide which ones I'm going to put a light or an accessory in. So yeah, it's a great light set. I just can't use it. I can use it on the Viper, and I do have a skin for the Viper, and after we drive our 48-inch sleeper Mack next week, next episode, then the one after that we will be driving our skinned Viper. And I have 3 of those as well. Same profile. I've got a log truck, kind of a mid-cab, mid-sleeper, and then I've got a great big extended wheelbase monster Viper 389. All right, down to neutral. Set the brake. Let's take a look here. Packaged food, is that what I saw? Packaged food. 41,000 pounds to Burns. Quick trip, 126 miles. Won't take but a minute. So let us go. How do we get to this thing? Let's go this way. Mirrors on this truck may be true to real life, but they are a bit of a pain in the ass. There is a mod already to reposition them, at least virtually, I guess. I don't know how that works for exterior view, but for interior view, it moves it up enough that you can actually see out of the mirror without turning your head quite so far. I know I experimented a little bit with cockpit position and slid back, and I had to slide back so far and make the field of view so weird to be able to see that mirror out of the corner of my eye that I moved everything back. It looked too wrong. It looked like I was back in a sleeper, reaching out for the wheel with very long arms. And that's no good. No good. What else is going on? Yeah, Iberia and Idaho, waiting on those little fixes coming in for ETS and ATS. Appreciate that. What else is going on? I saw a headline today in my feed from... interesting. Back there in the corner, are we? All right. I ain't scared. From Race Room, that the Zandvoort track, as I understand it, I could be wrong about this. I'm wrong about stuff all the time. But as I understand it, the Zandvoort track right now, if you use Race Room, you don't really own Race Room because it's free. But if you're in Race Room, Zandvoort is free. Is that... Did I see that correctly? Hang on, let's get back into reverse here. There it is. And that seems to be in celebration, I guess, of Zandvoort coming back to the F1 calendar. Although, obviously, the race is postponed, maybe canceled. I hope not. I hope not. It's very carefully. It's a very weird time to be on this planet. Telling you what. And once again, we got it in one swing. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. I'm not myself when I can do that over and over. Right. Let's load up. And it is 11:30 in the morning. We don't have very far to go. I can't remember the last time I slept, but I think it's going to be fine. Yeah, I think it's going to be fine. Brakes off. Lift axle up till we get out of town. Put her in gear. Here we go. So yeah, that is that's a cool thing, and you know it is so cool to have Zandvoort back on the F1 calendar as well. I meant it's cool that Race Room is making that track available, but it is also cool that Zandvoort is back, and it's, you know, every year they add a couple races to the F1 calendar and they take a couple races away, and there's always going to be like 10 or 12 tracks on there that never go away. Well, we say that. We think they would never go away, and then you see other tracks that have gone away, either because they don't exist anymore or because they just got taken off the calendar. But a track like Monza, right, or Silverstone, or Spa, as long as there's F1, until the heat death of the universe, those tracks are going to be on the calendar. You think. Monaco? I don't know. I feel like Monaco's on the bubble. Monaco... Nobody really wants it there. The drivers don't want it. The fans don't necessarily want it. It's not typically a very good race. So who knows? Maybe some of those classic tracks could go away. But for the sake of our argument, we'll say that they're not. So there's 10 or 12 classic tracks not going anywhere. And that leaves us with 8 or 10 tracks every year that are either newer tracks or new tracks, right? You got the Hanoi Street Circuit this year. That's a brand new track. You've got Circuit of the Americas has been around for a while. Baku has been around for a while. And let's see if we can get through here without scraping. I'll hop the curb a little bit, but we don't clip the sign. That's what I was worried about. All right. Let me see. Sochi is a new track. I think of Shanghai as a new track. Singapore is a new circuit. Relatively new. I don't mean like new for this year. I just mean, you know, they're not 50 years old. They're not Silverstone. So every year it makes me wonder, like, there are so many good tracks that are still around. They would need to be brought current. I think Kyalami is a good example of that. Kyalami is doing their best to get back on the F1 calendar. But there are so many circuits like that. Paul Ricard just came back. Jerez, I think, would be a great track. That's an F1 track. Right? There's so many of them. And there just aren't enough races in any calendar year to make everybody happy. Because my classic tracks that I would like to see brought back are different than yours, or different than somebody else's. And all these cities and all these circuits are bidding as well. We don't want to lock in the F1 calendar and just make it that way for the rest of all time. I want to see some variety in there. But when I see a track like Zandvoort coming back to the F1 calendar, I think, yeah, and there's so many more like that. At least another dozen tracks that if I found out they were back on the circuit, yeah, I would just smile ear to ear. All right, so cool to see that. So we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see how the rest of this year ends up for F1 and for everything else, really. We're all just sort of playing it by ear. It's all good. It's all good. We'll figure it out. And what else is going on? Oh, I am on a new gamepad as well. I'm waiting on the Xbox One X, One X Elite Series 2 X. It's got the longest name. It's a ridiculous name for that there item. It's a no-show. Still working on that. But in the meantime, I got a SteelSeries Stratus Duo, and it makes a world of difference. I was on kind of a leftover gamepad that I had in my closet, and it really that was a bit of a bit of a lag. Interesting. We're not really running any mods that I could think would cause that. Huh. All right. That hasn't happened in a long time. What was I complaining about? Gamepad. Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it had very strong return springs, very strong center detents. And so trying to take a stick off center, like move a stick away from its resting position, one of the thumbsticks, you had to kind of break it free. And it was a very quick, almost sort of a subtle process, but it still gave you a lot of this effect, right? It wasn't necessarily smooth. It didn't come off center smoothly. And it is a world of difference to be on a good gamepad again. I really miss my Razer. They don't make them anymore. I wish they did. If they did, I would buy another one. But they make a different Razer. We're gonna, you know what? I'm not even gonna try it. I saw the light too late, and I knew there was no way we'd make it through there. So we'll just wait through a cycle of the light. Yep, they don't make the Wildcat anymore. They make the Wolverine now, and it's entirely possible I'll end up with a Wolverine, and we'll just go down that road. But in the meantime, SteelSeries is treating me right, and if we can get the Xbox One X Series 2 going, I suspect that will treat me better than anything. That is rumored to be like the greatest controller ever. Now, something that I've noticed, and I don't know if they're not being imported right now, I don't know what is going on, but I saw that just getting a black one, that's like the whole problem is you can't just get a black one. They're all red and skinned and Modern Warfare and all this crazy stuff for like $300 and $400. Well, I don't want the skin, and I certainly don't want to pay $300 or $400 for a gamepad. So went with the SteelSeries, and it's treating me right in the meantime, and it's possible that it will continue treating me right, and this will just be the new gamepad. But so far, so good. I am enjoying it. And let me see what else. I saw there's going to be a British track pack for Assetto Corsa Competizione. They're adding Oulton Park, Donington, and Snetterton. And when you combine that with Brands Hatch and Silverstone, that's, right? You talk about your crown jewels. There's some crown jewels right there. That is going to be awesome. There's a GT4 pack coming as well this summer. I don't know which of those are paid and which of those are included. It could be that they're both paid. I think maybe the track pack is a free DLC, but I could be wrong about that, because the International GT pack was just tracks, and that was a paid DLC. Well, it wasn't just tracks. There were some teams included with it, but no new cars that I recall. Yeah. So we'll see how it all works out. I know the GT4s are going to be a paid DLC, but we'll see if the British tracks are paid DLC as well. Either way, I'm getting both of them. Really looking forward to that. And what else? We got F1 2020. For some reason, I thought it was in mid-June. It's actually only mid-July, so we're still a couple months out from that. But I've been seeing some teaser trailers and some gameplay, and it looks good. It looks good, but like the MotoGP 20 sim or MotoGP 20 game, I'm worried it's going to be, right, like the jump from 18 to 19 really didn't, 17 to 18, we got the reporter, which even though it's not my favorite part of the game, at least it was something kind of bigger and different. From 18 to 19, I didn't really sense a lot of changes. And from 19 to 20, we'll see. I mean, I'm always willing to be surprised. I'm always willing to be wrong. So we'll see how it works out. Looking forward to it regardless. And I know it's going to be tough for Codemasters to balance the game because they don't have any real-world data. I feel like as early as the season starts, well, compared to the release of the game, the season starts in the spring, the game is released in the summer, it gives them at least a few months. Let's slow down a little bit here. It gives them at least a few months to determine the relative balance of power in the real-life field, the real-life F1 grid, and reflect that in the cars when the game is released. So, looking forward to it regardless, but hoping that they can impress me more than I've been impressed by the gameplay and trailers so far. I'll tell you what has impressed me. You know this by now, I'm sure you know this. SnowRunner has impressed me greatly. Wow, I am amazed by that game. It is a perfect hybrid of American Truck Simulator, Farm Sim, and Dirt Rally 2.0. It is so much fun, and it just flows. And designing a game, I know I've mentioned this before. I'll mention it again right now. Designing a game, like the technical parts of a game, the graphics, the physics, the sound, making everything work together and not crash, screens, right? The user interface, the HUD, all that stuff. The literal stuff, the nuts and bolts, right? That is hard enough. But actually making a game fun has got to be the hardest thing for a developer, because graphics, photorealistic graphics, that's something that we don't disagree on what the real world looks like. And nobody argues whether or not a game is photorealistic. This game is not photorealistic. Something like, I don't know. Maybe, I'm trying to think of photorealistic games that I have. I don't know. Maybe Assetto Corsa Competizione. Maybe. Trickier in racing. I know in shooters and the fantasy genre there are more games that are closer to photorealism, but whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Photorealism. Okay, you look at a game, you say, that looks like real life. That looks like a movie. All right. And maybe there's some esoteric disagreement about that. But fundamentally, that's a yes-no question. Is this game fun? Oh, that's like a whole can of worms, man. Because everybody's different. Everybody has different ideas about what fun is, right? Is this game hard? Is it too hard? Is it right? Is it satisfying? Is it not satisfying enough? Is it challenging? Too challenging? Does it go too fast? Does it play too slow? You know, it's a lot like movies. You know, it is entirely subjective, and so much of what makes a game good is it's not static. It's not objective. It is determined by the person playing that game, in the same way the quality of a movie or any other piece of art is determined by the person experiencing it. So being able to make a game, and I'm talking about SnowRunner now, being able to make a game that, for me, it's very difficult, but in a linear and sort of attainable kind of way. Yes, it's difficult, but you can understand the steps to take to get better at it. Yes, it's frustrating when you roll the truck or fall off a cliff, but you can understand why it went wrong on you and how to avoid it in the future. And the list of examples like that, it just goes on and on. The game is balanced. And for any developer, not just for Saber, but for any developer, to make a game that is balanced, that is, you know? And then on top of that, everybody's different. Culturally, we're different. Generationally, we're different. By gender, we're different. It's amazing to me that a developer can make a game that resonates with that many different kinds of people all around the world, you know, that finds some kind of common humanity in us. Is that too grandiose a topic to bring into gaming? I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right? That somehow it just clicks, you know? It just works for people. So that's how I'm feeling about SnowRunner right now. I'm really, really enjoying the game. Binging it a little bit. In fact, I'm going to live stream it when I'm done recording this video. I'm going to live stream. It's going to be one of my first live streams. We'll see how that all goes. But yeah, it's a fantastic game. If you haven't checked it out yet, you really should. If you like driving games, if you like trucking games, if you like farming games, if you like puzzle games, problem-solving games, if you like graphics games that are easy on the eyes, yeah, man, it's checking all my boxes, as they say. So really enjoying that. And I'm also enjoying that there is no there's no test profile. You get more or less one character, one life. You can restart it, but from what I've found, that's it, man. That's just you. And it's you can reset a mission if you fail it, but more or less you own your accomplishments and you own your mistakes. I like that. I like that. It's different, for sure. It's different, but it also, to me, it lends itself more to that narrative-driven, story-driven gaming, which, I don't ever want to go full role play. That's not my particular brand of vodka, but I do like the idea of feeling like you're somewhere in a game, right? Rather than just that completely generic sandbox feel. To feel when you boot up a game, when you start up a game, when you launch a save game or a profile, to feel like you are not necessarily in a world, but that you're kind of a now where was I moment. And in a sandbox game, you don't necessarily have that, or at least I don't feel that. Sandbox game, it's like, all right, what do I want to do? And then you just do that. Whereas a narrative-driven game, a story-driven game, and I don't necessarily mean something like Skyrim, right? I'm not talking about lore. I mean, I'm not really seeing a lot of lore in SnowRunner, a little tiny bit. But I don't mean lore. I mean, where was I is the best place to start. It's the best way to describe it. Where was I? What was I doing? Oh, right. I was going to do this over here so I could take these over here. And, I mean, there is a sandbox aspect, but it's... Whoa, what was I saying about thumbsticks? Let's get back out here. There we go. There is a sandbox aspect in that you can do the things you need to do in any order you want to do them in, for the most part. There are some things that you need to do first. There are bridges that you need to open before you can explore the rest of an area. There are roadblocks that you need to clear before you can, right? So there is some linearity to it, but it never feels restrictive. And there are also some things that you try and they just don't work. You haven't leveled up your character and your equipment enough to be able to succeed at those yet. And the only way to find out that you can't do them is to try them. And I'm sure there's some things that I tried early game and failed at that somebody else tried and had no problem with at all. So it's, yeah, that's what I mean about a game maybe not being all things to all people, but being a lot of things to a lot of people. I mean, no game developer is ever going to have that 100% game, but it's, I see developers get close, that Harry Potter game that it just clicks with people. It just resonates with people in a way that is, it's kind of awesome to see. Now, I don't know how well SnowRunner is going to do in terms of sales, or I haven't even seen a review for it yet, or a score. It's not Game of the Year material. It's too obscure. It's too weird. But it's definitely fun. And for people that like sim gaming, particularly like Trucks and Farms, as I said earlier, it's just great. Do check it out. All right, we're pulling in here. And we may have come in on the wrong side. So let's see how we did. Where are we at? 24 minutes. Okay, not bad. I thought we were going to be here a little sooner. Yeah, this one. I remember it. You know what? I don't do this very often. No. I'm not going to give up yet. Hang on. I was just about to hit the skip button. But let's at least give it a try. Let's find a good gear here. Yeah, let's at least give it a try. We got time. 24 minutes, almost 25. Yeah, we'll try it one time. And I think... Yeah, I feel like the easiest way to do this is to back it in all the way from around the other side of the building. I realize it seems like we just drove in a giant circle. Well, I mean, we did. We did just drive in a giant circle. But there's a reason for it. A reason. I don't think we can get back there in one swing. But I believe we can get there in 2 swings. Yeah, we need to stuff this over here a little bit. And then go forward again. We did this one time. And we're going to do it again right now. And the placement of that fire hydrant right there. It seems random, but you learn playing this game that there's nothing random about these pick up and drop off points. It's all part of the challenge. Okay, so if we jackknife this thing in here, we may need to come forward to straighten it out, but if we jackknife this thing in here, we might just be able to do this in, well, I can't call it one swing because we've been, you know what I mean? We've been dicking around back here for a few minutes. Yeah, and then we'll pull forward and straighten it out. Don't hit the loading dock. Yep. Okay. I mean, not great. Not great. And if there were people sitting on that loading dock, you know they'd be having a laugh right now. But we did get it in there. Well, I say that. Yep. We did get it in there. All right, cool. And time, 28 minutes. Beautiful. Right there. Neutral. Engine off. Let's see how we did. On time, no tickets, no damage. Just a little bit of money and just a wee little bit of XP. There you have it, folks. Thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of American Truck Simulator. We'll see you next time. Take care now.